Hello, everybody, and welcome to Drafts and Drafts podcast. This is Drafts and Drafts with Timmy McBee and Adam E. Welcome to episode 6, and we are very excited to be here. Adam, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty well. Signed a new lease today, so excited about that. So episode, I guess that would be 9. I'll be at a new background. How are you doing?
That's exciting. All right, we got something to look forward to. I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Just chugging along. But no, I'm really excited tonight. Tonight's we got a great episode, and we have a fantastic guest tonight. One of my favorite people in the world, one of my best friends. It is Lisa. Lisa, how are you doing tonight?
Not gonna lie, I'm very happy to be here, but I'm quite nervous, guys. Quite nervous, but ecstatic to finally make my guest appearance.
Yeah, no, it's listen, it's fun doing these for sure. It's takes a bit of prep, and we appreciate all of you watching, and that's what makes it exciting. So I think tonight's going to be a good show. I think we got a good topic tonight. But before we jump into tonight's topic, Adam, why don't you take us through how last week went down?
Yeah, it was a close one. If you disregard my votes, Adam E was 17%, Furlong with 39%, and Timmy McBee breaks his, I believe, 3-episode losing streak with 44% for the win.
Oh, I like how you gave me credit while also giving me a solid backhanded compliment. I appreciate that.
A lot of people were wondering when is he going to do it? When is he going to break the slump? But you did it. So congrats.
There was a lot of bad press, and it's hard to show up every week, and continue to perform and just try and ignore all the negativity and just focus on what's important, and that's making good draft picks. So I had to tune it all out. I'm glad to take the W down. It was, I feel like there's a bit of a weight off my chest, and now I can go back into a slump for a little while, and that's okay. So you never know. Maybe we'll see if I can make it 2 weeks in a row here, but I think we got some tough competition in Lisa. Go ahead.
Also, a very important note, guests are no longer undefeated, but the middle spot, the number 2 spot when there's 3 people, undefeated still. So
that is true. I did notice that. I think it's been a couple of weeks in a row of number 2 getting the W. So I'm curious before, we'll get there in a bit, but I'm curious to see what Lisa decides to go with. I don't know, Lisa, how do you feel now that, were you worried that you were going to come in here and the guests were going to be undefeated and you'd have to carry that on, or how were you feeling?
To be honest, I hadn't thought of that, so I'm glad that that's not added pressure because I'm already feeling the heat, if you will. So
thanks.
It's a good omen.
Yeah, thanks to Furlong for lowering the difficulty just a little bit. I did hear from Furlong, and I'm told that he is hiring a certain outside consultant to contest the results. I'm not going to get into specifics, but that's what I was told earlier this evening. So apparently he was not pleased. But anyways, moving on. So for this, for anybody that hasn't watched the show before, this is Drafts and Drafts. And what we do on Drafts and Drafts is we have an overarching theme every single week. And under that theme, we have 6 subcategories. And so what we do is we essentially go into each category and we draft a topic, we draft a pick based on the topic, and we work our way down through the 6 categories. And at the end of it all, one of us is probably going to have a better team than the rest, and we're going to rely on you guys to vote and let us know who you think is had the best week. So in terms of those are the rules. And Adam, why don't you take us through the topic for this week's show?
Yeah, so this week we're drafting Olympic things. Summer or winter, doesn't matter. So the categories are couch expert, main event, add or subtract a sport, opening ceremony accessory, rule change, and sport drinking team. I think some of those probably need a little bit of clarification.
Yeah.
Couch expert. So basically every time you watch the Olympics, you spend 2 weeks watching a particular sport that you don't typically watch. And probably after about the first 90 minutes, you know all the rules, or at least you think you do. You're an expert. So that's the couch expert category. Do you want to take the main event one?
Yeah, main event is if you imagine yourself the chairman of the Olympic Committee called you and he said, I need you to be in an event this year, what event would you enter into? So we just got to pick an event for ourselves based on our current athletic and otherwise physical condition.
Which is impeccable around the table.
Absolutely. That's perfect. 100%. Adam,
sure.
What do we have next?
Add or subtract a sport. Basically, you get to either add a sport to the Olympics or take one out. Opening ceremony accessory. So there's an accessory for your team. And then do you want to take rule change?
Yeah, rule change is just pick any Olympic event and change one rule that you think would make it more entertaining and justify why.
Yeah. And then sport drinking team, you get to choose a sport and a country, and you get to spend a night drinking with that team. So who's going to be the most fun?
Yeah. And so, Lisa, where is your level of expertise here? Where are you... were you drawing on when you're making your choices tonight?
Aside from my natural talent and athleticism, I think I've always been a huge fan of the Olympics. In 2010 in Vancouver, when that I Believe song came on, I'm not gonna lie, there were frequent waterworks. It really cuts to my deep Canadian patriotism. And so I tried to be creative with my picks. Trying to stay true to myself, my authentic self, as I've learned from you guys in previous episodes. Didn't go too far out there. Hopefully, no Green Jay scenarios. But yeah, I'm just gonna. That's my game plan.
Yeah,
I'm feeling the pressure, so I can't even imagine what actual Olympians feel because I'm nervous.
No, I mean, I think the categories are pretty wide open tonight. I think there's a lot of opportunity to be, we're going to try and be creative. I don't know how much overlap there's going to be. I got a couple things on my mind that I'm hoping that you guys don't get to first. But I mean, with such wide open categories, this is a great chance to show off your particular strengths and weaknesses. And before we get into the main draft of the evening, I think it's important that we talk about the secondary but equally important other draft, and that's the drinks. So, Lisa, what are you doing tonight for your drafts and drafts beer?
All right, so trying to stay on brand here, we have a Brewade from Old Tomorrow, which let me get my best influencer here. There, you can see the packaging there. I believe it is a local Toronto company. It is a home ice advantage. You can see the lovely hockey players there. Described as crisp, clean, crushable. What more could a Canadian gal want to accompany her on this podcast? It's a craft lager, 4.5% alcohol. I don't know if you guys are gonna.
Hey, that sounds crushable to me.
And a little humanitarian aspect. 25% goes to support Hockey Helps the Homeless.
Ah, wonderful. So, you're just okay. You're drinking for all the right reasons.
Right, and I actually been waiting, so I'm going to crack it now and loop back at the end of the podcast, and I'll let you know how it goes.
Sounds good.
Already pandering, bring out the charity card, unbelievable. But I don't know what I expected, so that's fine. I'm going this week with a beer from Novo Brazil Brewing Company in Kahlua Vista, California. Brewed in California, inspired by Brazil. It's a hazy IPA. It's called the Pool Party Haze. They say that the velvety mouthfeel will have your taste buds swimming. So I figured that was kind of on brand. Only 2 types of hops. Someone complained to me last week that I wasn't drinking it out of a glass, so I got a glass this week. You're welcome, that certain someone. So looking forward to it.
Very nice. Yeah, I mean, I noticed. I don't think I heard you say the number of hops. We're just gonna stay out of it this time. I mean,
2.
Only 2.
I'm giving up.
Okay. I mean, I did note that when you said I was a 3-week loser, that I don't know the last time you outright won. But anyways,
all right.
For my selection tonight, I also tried to go something topical. I went with the Collingwood Freestyle, which is unfortunately a strawberry milkshake IPA. So I have no idea how that's going to go over. But Yummy. It is it's got an infusion of wild strawberry, and it's got a hazy, aromatic, and silky smooth character, and it's a 6% beer. So very excited to dive into that one. But no, I'm sure it'll be good. Okay, and without further ado, Lisa, why don't you let us know which one you are going with in terms of draft order? Are you going to pick first? Are you going to pick second? Or are you going to pick third?
Well, you guys kind of off the top explained that second has been doing quite well. So I'll take your advice. First the worst, second the best. I will just straighten out down the middle.
Okay, so that means you're picking second in every category, so you don't really get a choice of which category you're going to go into, but you at least get your second pick in each of them, which is a good one. So Adam, we have to do our traditional ceremonial coin flip. So I got the coin, you got the call. You can call it in the air.
Tails never fails.
It is heads this week. And I am going to have to go with the first overall pick and the first selection. So with that, go ahead.
One more thing before we jump into the draft. The results will be up on Drafts and Drafts podcast. And some people complained that if they didn't listen to it in 24 hours, they couldn't get their votes in. So if the poll's no longer there, just send us a message on Instagram and we'll count your vote there.
Yes, and we did get 2 late submissions last week. I don't want to say that they helped me out, but it actually was one for me and one for somebody else, so it wouldn't have mattered. But we do take late submissions. So again, if you want to vote, you can find us on Instagram at Drafts and Drafts Podcast. For those of you watching, you can see it in the top corner of your screen. And we will post a poll after the show that's up all day tomorrow, and you can submit your vote then. And we'll include our choices, so it makes it a little bit easier. Okay, so we will jump right into the draft. And off the top, this was the one that I had the most trouble with. And so I'm going to go right into the opening ceremony accessory. I knew I wanted this one because there's only one choice that I could come up with, and I was very worried I was not going to be able to get first pick. So I'm pretty happy with how this worked out. And opening ceremony accessory is essentially, just for those that don't know, it's something that you are, as part of your team, walking into the opening ceremonies. It's something that you have to have on your person. So it's an accessory on your person, whether you're wearing it or it's on you. But in some capacity, what are you doing, as part of the team uniform? And my choice this week is going to be Heelys. And so for those that don't know, Heelys are shoes that have the wheels built into them. And so I thought, if I'm about to walk into a big stadium, a lot of lights, a lot of pressure, I want to roll right in there, nice and smooth. We could maybe do a little coordinated dance. I thought it doesn't take away, but it adds a unique element. And it just, establishes that we're faster than everybody and obviously cooler because we have wheels in our shoes. So I'm going to go with Heelys first overall as my Olympic ceremony accessory.
I'm personally worried about the logistics here. Every country goes right behind the next one. You're going to be going way too fast, run into the country ahead of you. It's going to cause a whole scene. It's a really cool pick, I guess, but I don't know if it's the most. You have to worry about safety as well. What if someone gets injured in the opening ceremony?
These are the best athletes in the world. Do you think they're going to fall over because there's a wheel on their shoe?
Potentially.
Okay. I mean, I agree that the spacing issue is something. Go ahead, Lisa. What do you think?
I need to ask, Ryan, did you ever own and rock a pair of Heelys?
I honestly did not, and it was one of my biggest regrets. I still picture the kids in elementary, and I don't even think it was high school because it was not cool by then, but in elementary school, and the ones that had it down where they had one heel up and one, they were just, I was like, man, that could be when I'm an Olympic athlete. I was trying to think of something that adds a unique element of flair without, just totally making you look like an idiot. And I still think it probably makes you look like an idiot, but it makes you look like it's fun. It's athletic, going for the sporty vibe. So anyways, that's what I'm going to go with. All right, Lisa, what are you going to take with your second pick here?
All right. I don't know how well this is going to go over. But I have selected an electric wingsuit. Essentially, I have I can see the speculation coming. Oh, that's my ring light, so then that's the reflection. But it it does exist.
Okay.
So you literally throw that on and you come in soaring, just flying high and above all the other countries, all the other teams. If you think you're feeling like badass with Heelys, come on. You just come in like a superhero.
I'm going to go back to the safety issue here. as well.
And again, they're the best athletes in the world. Like, obviously you've had dress rehearsals and like you've practiced.
But if you're a synchronized swimmer, do you have the capability to jump off the roof in a wingsuit? I don't know. You tell me, but I'm worried about Michael Phelps coming down hard.
Olympians, Ryan.
National tragedy, Lisa.
If you want flair, like, come on. Heelys ain't gonna cut it. It needs to be something, bigger and better. And that is literally soaring in an all-around Olympic stadium.
Adam, how are we feeling here?
It's a bit of a power move. I think one of the big things about the Olympics is sportsmanship. And so when everyone else is just walking nicely, your team just comes soaring in on these electric jet suits. Everyone's going to be like, we hate these guys. Who are these guys?
Then I've already won something, right? I'm in your head. You're second guessing yourself.
Okay.
Safety again, but
I just picture day one headlines of top luge contender. Actually I'm not even getting into that but
yes, because people have died in training, and
yes,
literally Olympics has been lethal in the past. So,
and you want to add a flying wingsuit into that? I
definitely don't. I don't want that. But I mean, if these people can do 360, whatever, all crazy jumps and loops, and they can rock a wingsuit.
To be fair, they've trained their entire life to do those jumps. But anyways, all right, Adam, what do you? I feel like chat seems to suggest this category is wide open, so I'm gonna pass to you.
I didn't realize it was kind of like a really out there thing, but sure, I'll take mine then. Mine's something that someone actually wore in the 2016 Olympic opening ceremonies, and it was a guy from Tonga, and that was way too much body oil.
I remember that.
Oiled up. It was. You could see a reflection off that guy. He was super jacked. Everyone was talking about it. He probably had like half an inch thick of oil on his chest. He looked cool. He got the people talking. I think it's a great pick. Body oil.
Can I ask, do you envision your team or do you envision just yourself?
Definitely not me. I don't want to. I'll wear a shirt.
But everybody else from your country is going to be slicked out.
If they want. I'm not gonna force anyone to oil up their bodies, but if they want to show off that Olympic bod, I'm good with body oil. It's kind of a shirts and skin situation.
I mean, I don't like your body oil combined with my Heelys. I feel like my team's going to slip and fall, but I did not see that one coming. So I don't know, Lisa, how do you feel about that pick?
I don't want to throw any shots because I just, as a girl who doesn't wear much makeup or know much about, cosmetics, I would assume that that's not an accessory. Is oil an accessory, or is it a toiletry or cosmetic product?
I mean,
but I'll let you have it. I'm not coming for
if it was a better pick, I'd try it, but I don't think it's good enough. I'm not even that worried about it. We haven't exactly set the bar very high between Heelys, wingsuits, and oil, but that one's out there. So that was an interesting start, and go ahead, Lisa.
I will agree. I remember the sir from Tonga. So
it's the most memorable.
It's memorable.
Opening ceremony accessory ever, perhaps.
Chat seems to think that the best accessory in this category was the ring light at this point. So we've done really well so far.
If that counts for me, then full support.
Okay. All right. I guess Adam, you have the first pick for the next category. So what are you gonna go with?
Yeah, I'm gonna go couch expert.
All right.
There's a couple here. I don't typically watch them other than the Olympics. And I think a key thing for this category is it needs to be kind of a scored event, because then as you're watching, you can throw out your scores, even though you have no idea what you're talking about. Okay. A lot of time they just have to do with the landing. And one thing that's great for that is gymnastics. Love watching gymnastics. I guess the last time I watched the Olympics, at least gymnastics in the Olympics, I was in America. So the U.S. women's national team were pretty good. Simone Biles.
Was that like the Fab Five team? What were they? I can't remember their name. They had a nickname, but anyways, yeah.
They were the final five. The Fab Five were.
I know they were the Michigan State team. Anyways, yeah. Go ahead. Okay.
So it's fun to watch. You get a little bit of everything. You start giving out scores, even though you have no idea what you're talking about. They jump up in the air, do a bunch of spins and land. You can't count the spins. No one knows how many spins they did, but you just base it on the landing. Yeah. So you get to pretend like you know what you're talking about. It's fun to watch. You got men's, you got women's, you got individuals, you got teams. Gymnastics. I think it's one of my favorite things to watch. Yeah.
There's a lot of gymnastic categories here, and I'm not going to make you narrow it down, but what's your favorite of the various events? Do you have one in particular?
I like the vault. I like the super sprint that they do. And that one's easy to judge because it's just based on the landing. If they step a little, you're like, oh, that's a 1 point deduction or whatever you figured out from the last person that just jumped.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good with gymnastics.
All right. It's definitely one of the more interesting things because just in terms of like raw athletic ability, it's pretty awe-inspiring. No matter what, like from floor routines to like the rings, you're like, I can't understand how people are able to do that. That's a good choice. I mean, because it's weird because you're right. You have like 98% of what's going on, your brain doesn't really know. But if they do stumble or like land it perfectly, you're like, crush, that's a 50. Yeah. I could see, and there's enough events that you do like start to pretend like you know exactly what you're talking about. So no, not a bad choice. I don't know, Lisa, what do you think about that?
That was my second choice, so I will give you some credit where it's due, Adam.
It's also one good. Sorry,
I would just say the one main reason why I didn't pick it as my first overall is just because, and maybe I follow gymnastics a bit more closely than the average person. Like we can name those superstars of gymnasts. They get the Wheaties box, they get the Dancing with the Stars follow up. I feel like they do get a bit more notoriety that, you kind of see where they're going between Olympics. You keep tabs a bit.
How often do you watch them do gymnastics though? And that's probably just once every 4 years, right?
I mean, if it's like a Sunday at like 3 o'clock and there's nothing on, the world champions are just.
And you know.
But yes, I agree. I said it's number 2. It's a great.
You've had a few too many strawberry milkshake IPAs the night before, and you're like, I could lounge around and watch some gymnastics. Yeah, okay.
That's never happened.
No, I don't think so. Lisa, what are you going to take then with you have your first overall pick here? So what's it going to be?
Yeah. So just checking my notes here. Similar vibe, kind of as what Adam was going for. I have picked diving. So. Again, multiple events. You have, different elevations that they dive from. You have tandem, you have your single dives. So a lot of opportunities to judge, when like you're elbow deep in the chips being like, oh, terrible, big splash. I feel like most people kind of recreational swim, not all, but I feel like some people, have familiarity with kind of, aquatics. And I think it's just really easy to sit back and be like, that was a splash way too big. Nope. The legs are slightly not, 90 degrees. And yeah, I mean, like, I personally think that I crush handstands in pools every summer, and all of my friends assure me that I haven't. So I think it's just one of those sports that you can really sit back and feel great critiquing and then not even have a thought in your mind until the next 4 years.
I feel like everybody thinks they're good at handstands until they see them. So like they see and then their legs are like here, but you're like, no, I was dead straight. Anyway, sorry.
Exactly. I also think it's called synchronized diving, not tandem diving. But
that sounds like a couch expert if I've ever heard one. I don't know.
Right?
Diving was on my list. It's one of those things. Before they walk up, you know what dive they're going to do. You're like, oh, the triple pike with a half twist, and you're like, bold choice.
Exactly.
High difficulty score, but we'll see on the execution here. So I like watching diving. Do you have a favorite one that they do? Do you like the synchronized? Do you like the springboard? Do you like the 10 meter like flat deck? Not much of an expert. I guess.
Just in general. I like when they do extra like spins and flips and.
Okay. Yeah. So probably more of a springboard.
That's my expertise coming through there. Yeah.
All right. Well, thankfully, my first pick is still on the board. And this is something that some people know a bit about, but a lot of people don't know very much about until it's on during the Olympics. And that is going to be figure skating. So again, similar to what you guys are saying, lots of different types of events. And as soon as figure skating comes on, you inevitably get the very, very knowledgeable, intense commentators that go into the very, the specifics. And within 15 minutes of watching, you can tell the difference between like a triple salchow and a double axel. And you just start tossing these terms around. And I mean, for me, like obviously there's like big mistakes when they fall. Everybody's, oh man, like couldn't pull that off. He bit too much off there. There's you can see when when they're in the tandems and the pairs, or then they're spinning and they're slightly off, and everybody gets really critical. I think it's there's enough depth to it that the people that know the sport well obviously appreciate it more, but there's also enough surface level visual things going on that if you just watch it for half an hour, you feel like you know exactly what is happening. You watch a program, immediately whether you think it was better or worse than the last one. And I think for anybody that's never actually done it, they don't really appreciate the difficulty, which is a big factor for me in couch experts, because I have never heard a very athletic person be super judgmental about something. It's usually just people sitting on the couch munching on some chips and criticizing the latest tumble. But so I'm gonna go with figure skating as my choice.
They often have like a technical section of their routine
that they're like they're not even doing anything. I don't understand.
Yeah. And you're just like, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
So that's why I fell on my list. The top three I had were the three we took.
Oh wow.
But the technical section, I just like don't really have any judgment on, so I can't just sit on the couch and be like, "Oh yeah, that was a good technical section." So,
I have one clarifying question: is it figure skating, so with the jumps, or is it like Tessa and Scott with the ice?
I think it's. I guess that's fair. I mean, if we're gonna go all of diving and all of gymnastics, I feel like I should be able to take all of ice dancing and figure skating.
What do you think, Adam?
I'm gonna let it slide, but it would be kind of fun if we just said, nope, you gotta choose one.
Yeah. I mean, ice dancing, there's like figure skating, I think there's more like, definitive moments in a routine. Yeah, where it's like, okay, they landed that jump or they did not, but I'm just gonna grab all of it. So I appreciate you passing that over. Okay, and we'll move on to our third category, and I hold the board here. And this one, I think, is pretty open, but I'm going to go with our category number 6, which is the sport drinking team. And so, I'm sure you guys did the same thing that I did, which is pull open all the Olympic sports and just start scrolling through. My top choice, which is not, for me, it's not country specific, but that is going to be a sport that I want to go have a few pints with. If I go to the bar with really, really like beach volleyball players or sprinters or decathlon, I'm like, man, I shouldn't be sitting next to these people. My people are the curlers. Lots of very athletic curlers there are, but they're not like physically imposing, generally speaking. They like to drink. They like to have a good time. It's tradition in the sport to grab a drink after the match. So I feel like I'd fit right in with them. I don't know very much about curling. Like I know a bit, but enough that I could, probably carry my own conversation. But I think they would just be a fun group of people to hang out with, and all different countries. From the Nordic countries to Americans, Canadians, everybody. I think they'd be a fun crew to hang out with. So I'm going with the curling Olympic teams in general as my drinking team.
It's a good pick. I think there was a major shift in curling, though. I remember there was a team from Northern Ontario that did pretty well in the Brier, and their whole strategy is, why don't we just take this seriously and work out? And so they were jacked, and everyone else was beer drinkers. And then I think the whole sport of curling was like, oh yeah, maybe we should just stop drinking beer and take this more seriously. So maybe today's curlers aren't the curlers of the 2000s, like the old bear, and but it's a good pick. It's a good pick.
Okay. I mean, fair enough. There's definitely some that I think in a lot of those sports that don't require pure raw athleticism, you get a pretty wide variance. So, but that's fair. I don't know, Lisa, how you feeling?
I that wasn't even on my radar, to be honest. I feel like it's different vibe than what I'm going for. If I can respect just wanting to have like a casual drink with friendly folk. But if I'm at the Olympics, like game time, like it is. I want something.
You want to
fun.
party?
Okay. I want to live it up. Yeah.
Okay, perfect segue. Yeah. What are you gonna go with?
One last thing on curlers. I feel like they're the type to have T-shirts that say "We're a drinking team with a curling problem" or something along those lines. I could see that for a curling.
Those are my kind of people.
I can see it. Yeah. So if it's to me, I was between two. I had a really hard time kind of picking, but I went specific, and I am taking the Jamaican bobsled team. I mean, Cool Runnings. Do I even need to say more? You are going to have a fantastic time. You can be chill if you want. It can, I feel like they can turn up if you want. Super hospitable, super friendly. We share a common language. I just, probably good to look at too. So I think we would have a fun time.
I can. It was not on the top of my board. I also, to be fair, I don't think I've seen Cool Running, so I can't comment on. I don't think I have. Dock a point for that. I don't know.
I think so. One thing with them is I think they like competed once. I don't think they're like a mainstay.
No. They have been in recent Olympic. I looked this up. They've been in recent Olympic Games. They don't particularly do that well. So kind of to Ryan's point, like they're not going to be like, can't have a beer tonight. They're going to be like, let's go. We're at the Olympics. Like we made it. We've won already. Just being here. So
it's like our team got out day 2 and our flight back is in 14 days. So
that's a long bender even for me. But yes, that's what I'm going for.
I mean, you've been training your whole life for that, Lisa. I feel like you can for 14 days. I don't know, Adam. What are you going to counter that with?
So I did some research on this one because I had a few picks. But
what can you even research? Who? Anyways, yeah, okay.
So I'm going with a specific country and team as well, and so this country has the highest alcohol consumption per capita of primarily English-speaking countries. The list is dominated by Eastern Europe. And then there's a few other ones in there like Finland. But Australia is surprisingly like 16th. And rugby players get pretty wild.
Yep.
And so I'm going to go with the Australian Rugby Sevens team. Rugby players know how to have a good time. They're kind of crazy.
Yep.
Because they're huge, don't play with pads, constantly hit each other. So I think at the very least, if I'm going out with them, we're going to have a good time. Things are going to happen. We're probably going to get in trouble, get kicked out of at least one bar. There'll probably be a cheers with mugs where the glasses break and they still chug it. And I'll be like, yeah, I'm good. But I'm going with the Australian rugby team.
Pros, you're going to have a good time. Cons, you're going to get tossed around like a rugby ball at some point during that. Like you're going to be in a headlock, you're going to be on people's shoulders. Like I picture you next to some of those people, and you anyways, I think they'd be a blast. I think it's a great choice. I think Australians are notorious for being a good time at the bar. So hard to argue with that one. I just kind of fear for your safety there. I mean, you played some rugby in your life, so I feel like you'd be able to talk the talk. But
I got nothing bad to say about that, Adam. That was I didn't want to sound super thirsty, but you did it for me, and you wear those bruises that can be like your medal if you're not competing. I think it would be a great time. Can't say anything bad about that one, Adam.
Okay. Thank you. I also provided backed with data, like 16th or the highest English.
I wouldn't tell them. I wouldn't lead with that when you walk into the pub with them and be like, guys, I did my research on you. But whatever you're feeling.
Not number one in the world, just the number one of people I can understand.
Yeah,
it's a good selling point.
It's true. All right, what are you going to pivot to here?
I'm gonna go with the main event.
Main event, okay.
So with this one, my whole goal is to my whole list is just me based on not embarrassing myself. So I'm probably choosing something on a team where I'll never be like truly exposed. I have to do a pretty simple task. And so kind of going off what Lisa just said, I'm going with the 4-man bobsled, and I'm going to be the second guy. Okay. The first guy has to steer. The back guy is the brake guy. The other two, not much to do. You have to weigh an amount of weight. I can put on weight for this. And you got to lean a little bit. both well within my repertoire. Gaining weight, I could do that. No problem. Doesn't have to be muscle. I'll just let gravity take over. So I'm going to be the second guy on a 4-man bobsled team.
Okay, couple points to that. Number one, do you know that you have to gain weight? Like, you did your research on the drinking. Did you do your research on what the second person on the team weighs?
It's gravity. You have to do some pushing, but if I'm pushing less than the other 3 guys, no one on TV is going to say, like, who's that second guy? He's really not pulling his weight over here. So it doesn't matter if I'm a little out of shape and can't push as hard as them. Okay. And then when you're going down the hill, if I'm late on my leans, no one's going to see that. I can basically be like, hey, win as a team, lose as a team. And just because I'm the weakest member on the team doesn't cause any issues.
Bring them down.
The second counterpoint is we've talked about this before, and your biggest weakness as a average height, is that fair? Average height, pretty in shape, generally in shape guy, is your like 50-yard dash speed to the point where my overweight ass has beaten you in a run in a croc race. And so if you're second on a bobsled team on ice, you think you're not going to keep the 2 guys behind you? Like, they're going to run into you. There's no way you can keep up with them.
We have like a rigid bar. I just kind of have to hold on and just lift, and the bobsled will take me with it.
But your shoe, I'm pretty sure your shoes have, I'm pretty sure your shoes have like picks in them. So if you drag your feet at all, you're going to face plant and knock out your whole team. If you threw me as in a second position of a ball, I would be terrified that I'm going to like either fall flat on my face from slipping, or the guys behind me are going to be like, have you ever had to run close behind somebody? If they're too slow, you're tripping on each other. I'm surprised.
I don't think we're tripping. I don't think the tripping thing's an issue. I'm going to upset the other 3 people on my team.
Yeah.
But I don't think my country's going to point at me and say, yeah, number 2 there, not so great.
That was his fault, unless you do something bad. I will admit, once you get in the bobsleigh, you're done. And that's you're like, my job's done, and you can just lie there. That's interesting choice. So instead of choosing like a spotlight event, you're like, 10 seconds of my life, the fastest I've ever run, and then I'm finished. Good choice. Yeah. Good. Other than that, I'll give you that one. I don't know, Lisa, what do you think?
I considered bobsled for the same reason that, you can just kind of try and get through just being stuck in the middle somewhere. But I mean, I know, at least in 2-man bobsled, so I'm assuming the 2, 3, and 4 positions, they are sprinters. Like, some people who compete in the Summer Olympics compete in the Winter Olympics in bobsleigh, because you just have to be explosive.
That's what I'm thinking.
I don't know if I have it in me at my current age and state, but Adam,
if you believe in it, I mean, hey, your training regime is just go out there and do 20-meter wind sprints for the next 12 months.
Worst case, and this will be a little embarrassing, I'll just start in the sled. The other 3 can do the work, and then they can jump in around me, and
Okay, well, right. Chat is calling for a fact check on Lisa's criticism, but unfortunately we do the show live, so we got to keep going.
Lolo Jones, look it up. She was.
Oh, no, okay, that's good. You got a name, so that's more than good enough for me. All right, Lisa, what are you going to counter with?
Chat. I'm surprised. Chat. I'm usually down in the trenches. Those are my people.
This one was a direct relative of yours, I think. But anyways.
Oh no.
Okay. What's your choice?
Okay, so I had a lot of back and forth on this, and I didn't want to say what I'm about to say for the comments that I know are going to blow up chat right now. I also thought, like Adam, that let me pick something that seems, obviously none of these are easy, and they're Olympians for a reason, and it's just completely so far-fetched that we would even compare ourselves to these Olympians. But I thought of going the route where, like, what if I just, solely started training now? What could I, see myself in? I thought of curling, for example, but there were some great Canadian curlers. So I'm just going to let the hecklers come for me, and I'm going to just stick with what I've known since I was younger, which is soccer. I am by no means have any kind of skill or endurance as these great women on the Canadian soccer team. The points I'm going to argue are it's a team of many. So I have more, I'm not a numbers girl, but I have more opportunities to maybe make the squad. You know, maybe there's like a lot of injuries and for some reason. And you know, obviously if I could be the water girl, then that's what I'd pick. But if I have to be a participating member of the team, I grew up playing soccer for all of these hecklers in the chat. I did make the regional team. I suffered an injury myself as I was in tryouts for the provincial team, and that's sadly where my all-star career ended. But while I was younger, I was quite good. My parents have the trophies to prove it. So I don't have them here with me, but I'm going to not be so bold as to assume I can have never curled or bobsled in my life at the age of 30 and just start and make the Olympics. So I'm just going to go back to my roots.
Try and be 15 years younger than you are now.
Like riding a bike. Yeah.
I don't know if that's how that works, but that's listen, that's fair. I mean, I think
that's my answer and I'm sticking to it.
I think I think you got to go through. Wait, go ahead, Adam. What do you
there's a lot of space out there. Like maybe some games the ball doesn't even come near you. Like maybe you play like striker, but like forward left striker, just like stand in the corner, maybe
just like cherry pick. Yeah
maybe be the person where they can like have the option to kick the corner kick to you and then you kick it right back to them. Like
I mean, happy to be a sub, a bench warmer. I don't even ever have to see the field.
We didn't like specify. I kind of am leaning towards like you're gonna have to participate at some point, because otherwise you could pick something that you could just hide behind. So we're assuming we're assuming you're getting into a game at some point.
All right. I mean, it's not going to be a starter, I'll tell you that, but
okay.
I could maybe, you know, if someone gets injured, you know, second half, I can come through a little bit.
Okay.
I'm a little, I don't know your current state compared to Olympian soccer players, but I feel like stamina might be an issue.
Stamina is going to be an issue at some point.
And you might be a liability.
Okay, at least I have some experience, Adam. Have you ever even seen a bobsled in real life? Like touched it?
Good counter. Have you?
I've sat down and leaned left and right before.
Okay, so have I.
So he's couch experting he's gonna go to the Olympics for something he's never seen or done in his entire life. And Lisa's gonna get out there and she's just gonna be like a spinning top where people are gonna be running around you and you're just gonna be what? I mean, hey, listen, you guys chose team sports. I don't know why. Here's my goals. Canadian Olympic Commissioner calls me and he says, Timmy, I need you in the Olympics. I don't care what you're going to do, but I need you in there. I'm not in good shape. I know that. I have played competitive sports a lot in my life, but I can't do anything that I used to be able to do. I'm also aware of that, as many people in the chat can attest to. So what is going to require the least amount of training and the most amount of enjoyment? And that's going to be golf. So I am a half decent golfer. I'm a single digit handicap. You know, I can play. So the training is like, well, I'm not going to get much better. You know, I'm where I'm going to be. That's fine. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to go running. I don't have to just train any muscles. I can just literally show up. I get to travel the world to go play golf and, you know, have a few pops, have a good time. People pay lots of money to do that, and the country's just telling me to go do it for them, which I'm like, hey, I'll say yes. And will I embarrass myself? 100%. Like, of course, I'm going to, you know, shoot 86 if I play well on the world stage, and everybody else is out there shooting, you know, 67. However, yeah, I can get around the course. I'll finish the event. I won't hurt myself. I barely have to do anything to prepare. And for the most part, it's going to be a good time. So I got to go with golf on this one.
Well, so you said a few pops. You mean like drinks?
Yeah, 100%. I can't play when I'm nervous.
During the Olympics.
100%. Yes. What other sport of the Olympics can you like? I got a big. Well, my golf bag's back there. I got a big golf bag. There's pockets in there. You know, you can sneak a few strawberry milkshake IPAs and have a good time. Why not?
What would the commissioner say about that? He needs you.
He doesn't need to know, Lisa.
Oh.
No, I mean, like, I'm just saying I would play better with a few beers in me than I would without. So I'm not condoning drinking for as a reliance, but I just happen to know from experience that it calms the nerves a bit. So, anyways, that's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah. Is that even allowed? Like, I know they do drug testing. Is alcohol an okay drug to be on while you're competing? Because I mean, sounding a little sus over there, Ryan, Trump or Timmy.
If go ahead, Adam. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I assume you can't bring beers on, and you're gonna bring out a beer. The Marshall or whatever is just gonna be like, this is the Olympics. Like, you can't.
Hey, John Daly would drink like 9 Diet Cokes around. I will just relabel them. I don't listen. I don't want to get too into the drinking because like I'm there to play golf. Like, that's fine. We can cut that out. If they tell me in the first tee, put that away, I'll still be fine. I don't need it. I'm just saying, I'm just out there to have a good time. That's all.
Here's kind of my other issue is your name is there alone as last place in the Olympics.
Yep, 100%. But
it says T. McBits, Canada, 246. Yeah.
Correct. But nobody's expecting me to be a professional. Like, if you show up and do the you think your team, your bobsleigh team is not going to finish last with you on it.
Oh, it is, but it's going to say Team Canada.
Okay. I'll own up to it. I'll take the hit. I'll apologize to the country, and then I'll have a great story to tell. So that's,
All right.
Anyways.
Fair enough.
Okay. We got to move on. Okay, so we are down to, I think it is the last 2 categories, and I think it's my pick here. So I am going to go into rule change. And so rule change, again, to reiterate, is pick an Olympic event and change any rule to make it more interesting. And so this one's going to be a little controversial, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to choose I'd like to take track and field, but I feel like you won't let me take all of them. So I'm going to take the decathlon because that has 10 track and field events in it. And I'm going to permit the use of PEDs for this one event. So I think if you take sprinting, jumping, and other throwing and shot putting, all these events, and allow people to performance enhance, I think it'd be pretty interesting to see what comes out. I don't know. That's just me. So I don't condone it. I don't believe in it. I would never actually want it. I just think if you strictly want to make it more entertaining, I think that would be a pretty funny way to do
it. Do you think they're Olympians, they're fantastic athletes. Do you think putting them on drugs, Ryan, is going to make it that much more enjoyable and entertaining? Like, how far is the bar going because of this?
Well, that's what we don't know, Lise. That's what we don't know. That's what you're finding out. You can look at the last 100 years of results and see what actually, the benefits from it. I don't feel good about this pick. I don't support it. I just think if you're strictly going for entertainment factor and you see a guy like do events that like last year he was way worse at, or regardless of gender, I think it'd be entertaining. Like, tell me if you knew that there was 50 people competing in the decathlon that had all been doping, you'd be like, I wonder what's gonna happen.
Couple of major issues with this one. What if some people are like, I don't really want to, and then it's
optional.
They're gonna get destroyed. That was like cycling for 10 years, and then it's kind of cool when like the first person like throws a javelin like 5 meters longer than anyone's ever thrown it before, but then they're all doing it. It's just like, okay, we just like moved the goalpost 5 meters further.
We don't know.
I feel like maybe for people who like numbers, like if you have to look back at the previous Olympics 4 years ago to be like, 10 extra meters, like,
you don't think the commentators are going to tell you new Olympic record and then like 30 seconds later new Olympic record? Like, that's kind of pretty cool. Okay, I'm gonna eat this one for sure. But I'm just saying.
I went a very different direction with my picks.
So did I.
It wasn't gonna. I walked into the first overall pick and I was like, I had some others ready. I just thought I don't want this in the real world, and I don't support, condone, or believe in this. I'm just suggesting strictly entertainment.
Just think of the snowball effect, though. People are sitting on the couch and be like, that guy in 1 year ran half a second faster in the 100 meters. I need to get me some PEDs. Like, imagine what they could do for me.
We're in an imaginary world, Adam. Come on, you got to work with me here. Anyways, all right, Lisa, what are you gonna go with?
All right, so keeping that kind of theme of imaginary world, I went a bit of a different direction. I'm thinking big, explosive, something that's really in your face. You don't need to crunch numbers to find more enjoyment from it. So I'm glad you allowed us to have other track and field events.
I feel like it's cheesy if I took all of them. So yeah, I'll yeah.
So that was good on you, thank you. I have picked the relay race, and instead of transferring a baton, you are holding a lit firework.
Are you trying to do?
Yeah.
I think you're doing.
Oh,
It's not
I
working.
had a sound effect. Oh no.
I heard you. Nice. I heard you play it in our sound check,
Anyway.
and I was like, she's picking something with fireworks involved. But okay, you want a lit firework?
Like, obviously, we would work the science out with it, but like in your face excitement, enjoyment.
Okay.
Like, if the pressure of the Olympics wasn't enough, you have a literal ticking time bomb in your hand, and you are racing, and it's gonna explode when you get to the finish line.
So immediate counterpoint to that is like you are against people using performance enhancing drugs, but you want the slowest team to lose their hand, and you're like, oh, they're too slow.
No. It's like a Roman candle where you can like direct it. Like they're not like
what, they can shoot the opposing racers.
Yeah, they're 100% shooting the
what, you guys somebody's in like
strict,
20 meters in front of you, you fire at their legs, like you
listen
where
strict rules. Like,
where are you pointing it?
There are shooting sports in the Olympics, and you don't see Olympians turning the rifle on each other.
It's a gun, not a firework.
Well, I think the same applies. Like, there is a level of sportsmanship at the Olympics, and it's gonna come on.
They don't run around having to shoot the gun in the air because it's just automatically going off. Got to finish the race. Like
it's a lot more exciting, Ryan, than having super jacked athletes that are like sweating profusely because of these roids they're on. So I'm sticking with my firecracker baton.
Just tell me where they're pointing the firecracker while they're running. That's all I want to
know. To the sky. Up.
So it's just raining. Okay.
For some reason, when you mentioned changing the baton, for some reason I thought instead of the baton, they were going to be carrying one too many things, and so they're trying to run and juggle all these things and then have to transfer them off. But fireworks, they're
just handing each other fireworks that are going off. Okay, interesting choice.
I want fireworks. I want, and it's like the Olympic torch kind of theme. You're keeping the baton. I feel like it goes back to like the ancient Greeks almost. You're the torch bearer. Come on.
It wasn't. Anyways, okay. All right, Adam. You
it's 2021. We're getting technical now.
Okay.
High tech.
I went a different direction on this.
I'm not surprised.
So one thing that's going to be in the 2020 Olympics, which I guess is now in 2021, is sport climbing. So it's a head-to-head rock climbing race, which is cool, but it only lasts 10 seconds. So I was thinking of ways I could increase that. One way would be to make the walls taller. But what I went with was kind of add a Donkey Kong aspect to it, where you start throwing like foam barrels down the people trying to climb up the wall. So turn sport climbing into more of like a Donkey Kong versus Mario scenario, where there's someone at the top trying to knock them off the wall as they're climbing up,
and they have to get out of the way or get hit.
Yeah. Well, while climbing, I think it would be fun. It would be exciting. It wouldn't put anyone in danger. They're on ropes. Yeah.
I don't know how if the barrel is heavy enough to knock them off, it will probably hurt. And if
it's a foam barrel,
then it's not going to knock them off, so it's fine. It's got to carry. It's got to carry. You're just dropping foam. Okay. I mean, listen. Hey, you definitely went the morally correct route in terms of everybody's safe and there's no dangerous explosives or other consumed products. However, I don't know. I mean, I think of all the things you could change in the Olympics, you just want to toss some foam barrels over the edge.
It'd be stupid. I'd watch it. And then maybe like bull riding, there could be different people at the top. Like one guy is obviously gonna be named Donkey Kong, but like maybe there's like different like people at the top of the wall competing kind of for like a separate thing. I don't know. I think it would be fun.
So are there other participants other than the Olympians?
Yeah, they're like running up the wall, and then it's like a referee. He's just like throwing stuff down the side and be like.
I think it'd be more interesting if like Italy is trying to knock off like Finland and like they're like throwing stuff at them. Then
the other team members.
Yeah, and then Finland's thrown at Italy, and then it's like that's the sport I want to do. I want to throw barrels at people if I had to go to the Olympics. There you go.
No, I'll take that.
But if you throw, you have to also have them thrown.
Yeah, I can't climb a wall. So you're right. That's not gonna work. Okay. All right. Fair point. Okay. We'll jump into the last category of the evening, and I believe Adam, you have the choice here. Although it's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, I'm between two. Both of them I'm gonna considering taking out.
And so for the record, this is you can choose one of remove a sport from the Olympics if you really don't like it, or add a sport that's not in the Olympics to the Olympics.
Yeah. So they have cross-country skiing in the Olympics. That's fine. They have ski jumping in the Olympics. That's fine too. There's an event called the Nordic Combine, where they cross-country ski and then somehow they get a score off that, and then they ski jump and get a score off that. Why do we need to combine everything? These are two separate things. Who cares if you can cross-country ski and ski jump? It's a completely different type of ski.
That's why it's interesting. Anyway, sorry, I'm cutting you off. Go ahead.
It's a stupid event. I'm done with it. Canada, US doesn't compete. It's just like Norway, Finland, and Sweden being like, how many more medals can we rack up?
So you're cutting the Nordic Combine.
Yeah, I'm done with it. They have ski jumping. They have cross-country skiing. If you were like the best cross-country skier in the world, be like, oh, how do I get better? It's like, try something completely different and get good at that too, and then you could win more medals.
Okay, counterpoint.
Yeah.
The decathlon. It's 10 events. Why do we have it? Why not just do your one event? Why do you need to do all the events? Why don't you know?
That's like who is like the best overall athlete. And if you're judging who the best overall athlete is based on cross-country skiing, good thing you can judge people on for that. Versus ski jumping. Ski jumping is like.
I think those are two completely unique strengths and training based programs. One's endurance, one's explosiveness. One's balance, one's just not falling over, which is still balance. But anyways, why that instead of like the one where you ski and shoot?
Oh, because like that, like if you were like a hunter, like that's kind of like a traditional thing. Like if you were like a Nordic hunter. Yeah.
Okay.
Adam, you mentioned that you're kind of sick of it, and it sounded like you maybe had a little bit resentment for those Scandinavian countries. If Canada maybe perhaps cleaned up these events, I'm just trying to make sure you're not biased anyway.
Yeah,
it's good question.
Still get rid of it.
Still cut it.
They do the ski jumping afterwards, and so like
Patriot,
your time in the cross country ski gets converted to a score. Like no one knows the conversion. You can't just casually watch that and be like, oh yeah, they had a 2 hour and 15-minute cross country ski. That means it's 52.5 points here. Like stupid. We don't need to combine everything. Let's keep some stuff separate. I'm done with the Nordic Combine.
All right. Next time my couch expert Nordic Combine, I'm going to be thinking of you. They are two pretty weird things to put together. I will say that. I don't think they're more weird than skiing and shooting. But
so you said next time you're watching the Nordic Combine.
Yes.
That's never going to happen. You're never going to watch this. You're skiing and shooting. At least like you ski to like the thing, you go out, you shoot, and however long it takes you to shoot is like added to your time. There's like a single metric you have to be good at. It's not like
but there's
you get a random score for your jump plus your time converted to score.
But
it's silly.
Okay,
it's silly.
But like the triathlon is also like 3 random endurance events put together. Like why don't you just
one metric for all 3?
Okay, so your thing is there needs to be a single metric. That's what I'm getting. Okay, well there's like anyways, we could get into this. Okay. Interesting pick. Not what I was expecting. I really thought you would take the opportunity to add to the Olympics rather than remove, but I appreciate your frustration for a rather random sport.
You've been heard. I feel like you've been heard.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, Lisa, what are you going to counter that with?
So yeah, I kind of went not with the subtract. I feel like I don't want to offend any fan bases as much as I may not, prescribe to a certain event. I think you can only increase the greatness of the Olympics. And what better to add than dodgeball? Everyone loves playing dodgeball. Kids know what it is. You can get the young viewers in. Everyone, great couch experts come in with that one. Like, they are just gonna love seeing that. Like, I have this visual of what is better than seeing an Olympian, super athletic, great physique, just getting a dodgeball to the face. And you get the slow-mo of just them getting obliterated by a dodgeball. I think it's just something that would just add nothing but good things to the Olympics.
I would say, in support of your argument, is a very, very popular and entertaining movie that I genuinely enjoyed the dodgeball scenes during dodgeball. I thought that was a funny, exciting thing to watch, especially because it is a bunch of like incredibly fit people throwing a rubber ball and like jumping out of the way, which is like a pretty weird, like, you have to be athletic, but you can also not be athletic and still be good at it.
Were you cheering for Globo Gym?
Yeah, are you
kidding? The average Joes weren't fit and athletic.
No, the Cobras should have won. That was ridiculous refereeing. I mean, but besides the point,
I feel like it's also quite universal. Like, all you need is a ball. So, I mean, it's very inclusive. You can get people playing the game all over the world. You don't need snow or mountains. So, point for inclusivity. I just think it's the best pick, and you guys can't beat that. So
I like how it's just one thing and it's not a combination of two.
There's a single metric. You won or you lost the game. That is the metric. Okay, well, I'm going to go in a very different direction. I'm going to add a sport, but it is probably the least inclusive sport there is. Not something I was thinking of. Adam will be happy there is a single metric because there's a winner. But this is something that is incredibly international already, known around the world, still pretty well watched, although not as much in North America, but it's growing. And Lisa, frankly, I'm surprised you didn't pick this, and that's auto racing. I think there's a lot of drivers from all over the globe that are competitive. I think it would be really interesting to see them race for their own team on a national stage. I think you do get a lot of personality in the different tracks based on where you were and what cities. And, it's something that's already around the world. And yet for some reason, it's not at the Olympics. And while it's not necessarily a traditional sport, it's still very physically demanding. It takes a lot of skill. And, I genuinely would be cheering on Team Canada. And it would be fun to see the racers, like the drivers, race not for their car or their brand, but for their country. So I'm going to go with auto racing.
I just think that's a bit ironic coming from the guy who said he would drink while participating in his Olympic sport, but
I wouldn't be an auto racer. I would hope they wouldn't do that. Obviously we don't support that, Lisa. I'm just fair.
I mean, as a very new F1 fan, I think there's a huge market for it. Yes, I agree. But there's so much money and politics behind it. It'd be interesting to see how it could kind of move to the Olympic scene. So much is with the science of the cars and engineering. So I don't know how that would translate, but interesting pick. Dodgeball's better, but
it's fine. It's not super inclusive. I think they're like, yeah. It's fine. It's one of those things where there's so many like other aspects involved that like I don't know how well it would work. Like how many countries are going to be competing in it? Like probably only like what, 10?
No.
15 maybe?
What? It depends.
Like, is there like a salary cap? Because I mean, like,
there's no salaries in the Olympics.
Okay, well, they need like a spending cap because whoever's going to throw the most money at it's going to win.
Yeah, but that's
does the car have to be from the country too?
No, I thought about this. Does the soccer
engineers, the team?
Does the soccer player's shoes need to be made in the country where they're from? No. So why does the car? It's the driver. It's the wearer. I did think about that though, and I was like, well, obviously they're
bit of a reach.
Okay. Well, you know what? That's fine. I I also am not necessarily saying it's F1. It could be other things. Like I kind of pictured more like the NASCAR style, like car neutral. Obviously, there are some NASCAR cars that are better than others, but I was leaning more towards the neutral, not like go-kart, but like more car neutral than Formula One. But that's, anyways. I just thought it was. I don't think you can name a more international sport that's not already included in the Olympics, and so I pictured that being a
cricket.
Then why didn't you pick that?
I was going to. It was my second pick.
I don't think. I mean, cricket's international, but it's not like. It's pretty.
It is very global.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
I know it's big, but I think it's big in like specific. Like, there's 15 countries where it's huge, and I don't know. Anyways, I'm getting into things I don't know enough about.
It wasn't my pick
to be
so
confident.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. All right. Well, we ended that one off with some pretty disagreeing picks. Okay.
I think that one started off pretty friendly, and then we quickly started ripping on each other here.
Dodgeball was on my list, and I was thinking about other, but then there's like, you can pick a lot of like goofy, But anyways, not that it's a perfectly fine pick, but okay. Well, so that completes the draft. We're running a bit over here, so we'll be quick, but. Let's quickly summarize our selections just to run through them. So Adam, I'll start with you, and then we'll go to Lisa. So why don't you run through your picks?
So drinking team, I did the Australian Rugby Sevens team. Opening ceremony accessory, I did body oil. I subtracted Nordic Combine. My main event, I did 4-man bobsled, particularly the second guy. Couch expert, I did gymnastics, and rule change, I did Donkey Kong sport climbing.
All right, Lisa, what about you?
The name. All right, I'm a bit different order here, but
that's fine.
The rule change. So the relay, and we're exchanging the baton with a firework. My main event would be soccer. My opening ceremony accessory would be the electrified wingsuit. The sport swap, I would add dodgeball. The team I want to drink with is the Jamaican bobsled team, and my couch expertise is in diving.
Okay. And I had figure skating as couch expert, golf as my main event, auto racing as my add-a sport, Heelys as my opening ceremony accessory, rule change, I would add PEDs to the decathlon, and sport drinking team, I would take curling. And before we wrap it up, I will remind everybody, if you're watching live, please make sure you follow the stream. We really appreciate the support. We will be posting a summary of the picks as well as a poll for the winner on our Instagram at Drafts and Drafts Podcast. We post previous shows on our Spotify and other podcast source channels, as well as on YouTube, so you can find them there. All of that information can be found on our Instagram page. And again, we always appreciate you watching. Adam, go ahead. Yeah.
We need to review the beers.
I was getting there. I was going to get there. Yeah. Appreciate it though. So let's start with you, Lisa. How did you feel about your home ice advantage?
Yeah, it was great. It was crushable. Crushed it. Would recommend. Support the Hockey Helps the Homeless. It's a great lager. No complaints. And
Adam, how was your double IPA beer?
It was a pool party hazy IPA. Mouthfeel kind of velvety. Didn't leave my taste buds swimming though. This is probably the worst one I've had so far. But my draft, I feel like my draft is good this time. So one draft good, one draft bad. I'm good with that.
You picked the right one to be good. That's true.
Yeah.
My strawberry milkshake IPA, I really did not get nearly as much strawberry as I was expecting. It was like barely hints. I mean, I wasn't like looking for it, but I thought it would be a lot more milkshakey than it was, but it was still fine. It was good. Collingwood's always good brewery, so I did enjoy it for considering I was not expecting to enjoy it. So it wasn't too bad. But with that, go ahead, Lisa.
Sorry, yeah. I just have. Is there like a chance for? I know it's running long here, and it'll be quick. I just wanted to thank you guys for having me on tonight. It was my pleasure, and I'm just wanted to use this new platform.
Oh God.
To share something that I feel passionately about. So I can't thank you enough for this opportunity.
For those just listening, what does your sign say?
#FreeBritney. Everyone should support this cause.
Okay.
a last note, I'm not one to manifest, but I've been reading a lot about people, manifest things. So I just happen to have this gold medal here that I would be remiss if I didn't just really try and manifest this win. So I hope everyone enjoyed my picks.
Did you earn that in your under 15 soccer championships?
Those are at my parents' house. So this was actually because I'm an athlete. A recent 10K that I ran.
Oh, so it's a participation medal.
No, it was. So the medals were silver. I did put effort into spray painting this gold.
Oh, nice.
Because that's what I'm going for here. It was definitely a sub-hour 10K, which, I mean, soccer team Canada. Here we go. Sign me up. So thanks again, fellas. I would love to come back whenever you would welcome.
Thank you so much for being on, Lisa. We appreciate it. This week was some pretty out there categories, so we appreciate the creativity and jumping on. And I will mention quickly, for those of you that are interested in being on the show, please feel free to reach out to us on our Instagram. Let us know what you're interested in doing, and we're always considering guests and love having people on. Okay, and with that, I guess the picks have been made and the keg has run dry. So we do appreciate everybody watching. We do this every Tuesday night at 9:00 Eastern. Thank you again for all the support. Make sure you follow us, subscribe, smash that subscribe button. We'll be back next week. And for those that are watching live, stick around. The after show will be on very momentarily. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Take care.
See you guys.